what you're about to see is a pretty cut down reaction to Schindler's List. This is going to be cut down a good bit more than other movie reactions I've put on the channel, simply because after I've posted them, I've been running into them getting blocked. So I'm going to try this a little bit a different way. I'm going to try to have as much of the movie up as possible without the channel getting into any trouble. But compared to the other movies that are on the channel, this will be cut down quite a bit. So regardless, I hope you enjoy. Here you go, reaction to Schindler's List. September 1939, German forces defeated the Polish army in 2 weeks. Jews were ordered to register all family members and relocate to major cities. More than 10,000 Jews from the countryside arrived in Krakow daily. The blitzkrieg that the German army put on was nothing. I don't think it's like anything really the world had seen. Maybe since either Genghis Khan or maybe Roman legionnaires. Like it was fast, furious, and it was as we read about, as people experienced, countries felt like dominoes, right? So I find it crazy that the U.S. during the Iraq stuff called it shock and awe. They're going to call it shock and awe on an underdeveloped nation. Whenever Germany was doing the blitzkrieg, it wasn't on undeveloped nations. It was modern society. And they took no, they just, the dominoes fell one after another. So, man, I couldn't imagine.
Klein, David Ignacy, Paula Bitzer, Nadel Rahel.
Now I wonder how many of those records went from that to concentration camps. Or I know that concentration camps, they had numbers. But, yeah. I have a pocket money, Jesus.
Yes, sir.
Throwing money around.
Bring them over a round of drinks.
What you doing?
Come to the table, girls. Drink with us. That's Oskar Schindler.
Jarring going from that to that all of a sudden. And they can't do anything. The Judenrat, Jewish council comprised of 24 elected Jews personally responsible for carrying out the orders of the regime in Krakow. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but such as drawing up lists for work details, food and housing, a place to lodge complaints. Just imagine going from being a regular citizen somewhere to all of a sudden you're crowded into places and you're marked as different. Like you are meant to stand out with that Star of David. And then you've got to answer to people for work and everything else like that after you've had to take and leave probably your farms and your businesses and things of that nature.
They come into our house and tell us we don't live there.
Took this thing off. What are they going to do about it?
They will shoot you. There's a company you did the books for on Lipovitz Street. Made what? Pots and pans?
What community? Jews can no longer own businesses. That's why this one's in receivership.
Ah, but they wouldn't own it. If you want, you could run the company for me.
So he's offering him a deal that the Germans aren't offering. That's...
I'm sure I don't know anybody who'll be interested in this.
Perhaps you have a truck of wigs.
Oh, okay. This is what a black market means.
Do you know where I can find a nice shirt like that?
They're not going to trust him because he's German.
We're here to pray.
Yeah, he knows better. He's not even acting. They're probably thinking he's crazy. I mean, you're speaking with the enemy, but he's making a deal, so.
Going to need some other things too as things come up.
This won't be a problem.
Deadline for entering the ghetto. Man goes into the church. They all go into the Catholic church, number one. Conduct their black market transactions. He goes there. He's trying to take and set up contacts in the Jewish community, even though he's a German. So he's not going to take and get a whole lot of love. And he didn't. All but the one guy left. And of course, he's getting, he's thinking, I've got something coming in at least, probably. Probably also figuring maybe he'll come in handy later on down the road, because I'm sure, you got to be thinking mutual beneficiaries and things, right? So, Edict 44/91 established a closed Jewish district south of the Vitula River residency. Let's see. Residency in the walled ghetto is compulsory. All Jews from Krakow and surrounding areas are forced from their homes and required to crowd into an area of only 16 square blocks. That's another thing. You got to leave your home, you lose your businesses, you're not allowed to own anything. You've basically only got what you could carry, and now you're being shoved into a spot, 16 square blocks. You see how many people are on here. That's not...
Drängen! Kommen Sie hierher! Stellen Sie sich doch an!
Imagine having people looking over your shoulder as you're trying to get stuff squared away. In a wagon. Everything in a little wagon. 1, 2, 3. Prominent members of your community, members that most people wouldn't even think, or even if you might, well, I would say it might not think that people are if someone's Jewish, but members of your community that one day you're playing with, and then, or that you're taking and conducting a business with, and via propaganda and it's that kid on the street right there. Goodbye, Jews. Goodbye, God damn. Hate ain't fucking. It ain't. It's not ingrained. Like, it's not something you're born with. It's something you're taught, and whether it be through parental belief, or propaganda. Taking ownership. Just looking at the walls comparatively, you're going from a mansion to a mud hut. Like, it's fucking unbelievable.
It could not be better.
It could be well.
Oh, a little bit phobic. What's this?
You look like a clown,
Now look at this Dane.
Since you at best, I will repay you with
200
kilos of enamelware a month. Trade goods. That's the only currency that'll be worth anything in the ghetto. Things have changed.
They know he's got all the leverage in this. But he needs them, but still.
8, 9.
It's owned by Germans, but it's outside the ghetto, so you can barter for extra goods.
So he's giving them a temporary way out of the ghetto, at least for working purposes, means to take and actually barter for stuff that they need that they can't get in the ghetto. So he's giving them a better deal than what they're getting by just specifically doing things within the ghetto.
You need to convince him you have a trade, something valuable.
I'm a graduate of the university. I'll get these papers for you at Penkiewicz Pharmacy. It's just there, look.
He's a metal polisher.
They're finding people jobs within the factory and getting the proper paperwork.
How many times I told you?
I'm a metal polisher.
I have 10 work permits here for the Deutsche Enamelfabriken.
Patient?
I'm right.
Dip the basin with the tongs into the enamel solution.
The risk, not only by the German fella, but by this Jewish guy doing this, is fucking outstanding. Like, that'd been death if they figured out they were basically fudging stuff. Women trying to take and be seducing, it looks like. The difference in the way he's sitting with her.
The secretary took one.
Did you choose all of them? I mean...
It is my distinct pleasure to announce the fully operational status of Deutsche Field and Kitchenware, unsurpassable in all respects by my competitors.
He's ensuring that his company, he's going to be able to take and keep these people employed. So the whining and dining, oh, this is devious as hell. I like that, though. Bro, just the amount of risk he's taking with all of this during this time.
I want to thank you, sir, for giving me the...
Very useful. Success.
You need to understand that some of the officers here don't give a damn about production.
Come with me.
Fucking demeaning.
An essential worker.
Essential work.
No.
Why? Why? Because he was...
A one-armed machinist, Oskar?
He was a metal press operator.
Leave your luggage on the platform. Clearly labeled.
All those printed out names. Thanks a lot, IBM, you son of a bitches.
My plant manager is somewhere on this train. If it leaves with him on it, it'll disrupt production in the armaments.
Herr Director, my apologies.
Stop the train!
Bro, that's some power, right? That's more than a lot of folks were able to do. We got over an hour more of this. Herded like fucking cattle in them cars, man. One thing I hate to hear so fucking much this day and age is about motherfuckers being oppressed. Ain't motherfucker, they ain't a motherfucker in my country, and most fucking countries know what the fuck oppression looks like. That right there is oppression. Get taken because your name's on a fucking list. And the majority of these people did not take and see the light of day after they got to where they were going. That pig-headed motherfucker going about where would I be? Fuck you and where you would be. Where would that dude that you just got off that fucking train be? If you're being made fun of, you ain't oppressed. If somebody says something ignorant to you, you ain't being oppressed. I don't give a fuck what it is. Unless somebody takes you from where the fuck you're at, and you ain't done a fucking thing other than exist, you don't know what the fuck oppression is. This was oppression. Well, them, gypsies, Jehovah's Witnesses, and others, Protestant, Catholic, in some of these countries experienced was oppression. What Native Americans experienced was oppression. All these motherfuckers acting oppressed and being fucking victimized today, you take and watch stuff like this and you know the stakes, it pisses me off, it kills me. Because we're letting everybody dictate what the everybody else can say it, because heaven forbid now fucking, well, speech is violence. Motherfucker getting punched in the face is violence. That's violence. Ain't a fucking soul here, most of Europe, the UK, nobody's fucking actually oppressed. You don't know what the fucking meaning of the word is. I don't know how you could take and do that and be a Jew and not be heartbroken seeing what the fuck's going on. Like, I'm sure it was, but God. I don't know if I should have done this as a reaction.
You're a slave.
No one envies anymore.
I'm smart.
Oh, yes,
No
you're
one
smart.
plays
Her real the bottom. The ghetto is liberty.
There's so many people that before they got sent to concentration camps that starved.
This street divides the ghetto just about in half.
And the ghettos because they had no food.
Yeah, well, it's top down. I'm fucking freezing. One of you is a very lucky girl. There is an opening for a job.
Has to be torn down and repoured. If not, don't.
Unterscharführer.
Jawohl.
Shoot her. Shoot her! Here, on my authority. 600 years ago, Casimir the Great told the Jews they could come to Krakow. Centuries, there has been a Jewish Krakow. Today is history. This ghetto B.
Rüber zum Plaszow! Koffer hier lassen! Lauschen!
You're can't you! Deine Papiere, Jude! Das sind! Das sind!
Man to the right. Women to the left. Women to the left. Man to the right.
You have a blouse.
Mrs. Dresner?
Yes. Oh, you are a friend of my son.
Come with me. I will put you in the good line.
Not a boy anymore. I'm saying a blessing for you.
They're fucking kids. It's a fucking kid. Bro, how? How do you fucking lose humanity like that? I don't fucking get it. I don't care how much I read about it, see documentaries or movies. I don't get it. Just a kid. And he's got a whistle to take and blow against his own people. I'll put you in a good line. Not knowing that he's going to wind up in the same spot or the same way. You got a girl in the red. very striking seeing the little girl in the red dress and everybody else is in black and white.
How are you doing? Oskar Schindler. I go to work the other day. Nobody's there. Nobody tells me about this. I have to find out. They're mine! Every day that goes by, I'm losing money. Every worker that is shot costs me money.
What you want is your own sub-camp.
Leaving you to take care of my main account, the Schindler.
The calendar on my desk has the birthdays of our SS friends' wives and children. Don't forget to send something.
What do you mean, forget it? You
It
can't
gives me a
forget it.
headache.
You can't
It gives me a
forget it.
headache.
What are you making?
Hinges, sir. But maybe it's bent.
No. When you click, it was the angle of it's the pin.
Maybe. Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Still, nobody knows.
Yeah, sure. Bring him over.
Thank you again, Herr Director.
You're welcome again.
It's an honor to work for...
Please, sit down.
We're in 34 minutes, an hour 41 to go. I'm going to be honest with you, this is hard as to watch. Normally I try to take a refrain from cursing, and there'll probably be a lot of me talking with empty spaces in between. Him and that accountant, the accountant seeing stuff, and him pass along stuff to the accountant, get people out of there, take a work in his factory. All while having to take and maintaining payments now for those workers. But it's keeping them out of the concentration camp. Or work camps, as they like to take and sanitize it. It's hard to look at this stuff sometimes, or in this movie so far. Like it's hard to take and watch some of this, because there's a depiction of human life just getting thrown away arbitrarily. And I'm wondering what she's got. She's wanting to take an offer. Been a minute since I've seen a movie that taxes me emotionally like this one has so far up to this point. I really can't remember any, to be honest with you. At least not to this extent. Because you've read about this in history books. And the depiction of it. I mean, you can't fathom. Personally, can't fathom. Because we don't have any modern... I mean, unless you... Well, you do in modern times. You got the genocide Darfur. They're in Darfur. I don't know how you pronounce it. They're in Africa. In the 90s, you had the ethnic cleansing that went on there in what was it? It was one of the former Eastern Bloc countries, or not Eastern Bloc countries, but it's there in Europe. It was the ethnic cleansing that went on there, and it's a couple other examples, but the Armenian, there in Armenia, in other places, in a couple other places as well. But Darfur, you don't really... just read about how many people died. I haven't read any of any examples of or stories of the atrocities, right? You do get the ethnic Muslims there in China that have been taken to concentration camps that they just haven't come back. They want to call it, oh, no, they're not taking them to concentration camps or education camps. But as far as documentation, as far as history is concerned, the amount of people, you take and read about it and then see the depiction of it. You can't wrap your head, and whenever you do take and see even a depiction of it, it's so revolting.
Such activities are illegal.
Gerd lined up everybody from the missing command's barracks. He shot the man to the left, I'll be 25.
I'm Schindler.
Of course, I have heard, and he said the reason I beat you now is because you ask why I beat you.
He shot the woman from the steps because she meant nothing to him. Power is when we have every justification to kill, and we don't.
Happy birthday.
Well, sir, please. Thank you very much for the...
Bro, he is playing such a dangerous f***ing game doing that. Fuck, this gets more uncomfortable the more I fucking watch. Just for the simple fact of he's playing such a dangerous game himself. But not only that, these people that are depending on him, something he putting himself in jeopardy by doing this, he puts them in jeopardy. Because they're seen as vermin and less human. And before, with a guy taken and the commandant, it's like he's about talked himself into raping the girl and just beat the shit out of her instead. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie with a more unlikable character that I don't know if I've ever seen a movie with a character that I hated this bad. This far into a movie. Fuck, this is uncomfortable. Wow, this is uncomfortable to watch. So many different levels. So many different levels. It's the only time I've ever done a reaction to where feel I need a little bit of something. Take the I don't know about the edge off, but fucking hell. I don't think there's any taking any edge off of this. It's just got an hour and 18 minutes left. Bro. I don't know. It's the first time in a long time that I've started watching a movie and it's you want to see the rest, but you don't. I think there's a limit to mentally to how much pain and suffering that we can see, even if it's just a representation of it. I don't think I'm really getting close to that limit, because there's people that Jews treated so horribly. If you haven't read it, Corrie ten Boom, The Hiding Place, to go along with a book like Anne Frank, but it's one of the books read whenever I was growing up. Corrie ten Boom, The Hiding Place, hiding from the Nazis, and then being sent to a concentration camp. And it was her and a brother, and I think her sister survived. I think it might have been her dad too. I don't know if it was. I can't remember if it was the mother, but her and her sister survived, and they didn't take and see each other for like 20 years after. Like they had to find each other. So it's, and you just read it, and you see pictures, like them coming out of concentration camps and stuff like that, and just being skeletons, and you read about the gas chambers. You read about them taking in the mass graves that were uncovered. And you see, and this is it was based on a true story. So yeah, based on a true story. So this is a dramatization, or not even a dramatization. This is a retelling. This is a representation of the story of Oskar Schindler. And it's one thing to take and read about stuff, but to take and see in such graphic detail. Kind of glad that so far there's only been one piece. One little girl with a red coat. It's been color. This is... Bro, you're gonna get yourself in so much trouble.
Selection.
The only thing I can figure why it'd be so damn loud.
Do you say we get your fire hoses out here and hose down the cars? Thank you.
Couldn't do that. That's cruel.
Come on. Winery.
He's cooling it down because that's got to be like a hot box. They're seeing what he's doing. They laughed at him at first, but then they're starting to get the gist of what the fuck's going on.
They cast a spell on you, you know, the Jews. When you work closely with them, like I do, you see this.
God forbid you ever get a real taste for Jewish skirt. There's no future in it. They don't have a future.
Ashes. Department D orders Goth to exhume and incinerate the bodies of more than 10,000 Jews killed at Plaszow and the Krakow ghetto massacre. Are they fucking dead, man? What the fuck? Again, a level of depravity. Like I said earlier, I hate. I don't care. I don't care. If you're alive today and you're in the U.S. or you're in the UK, you're in Europe, you don't know what the f oppression is. You just want to feel fucking important. That's all it is. You're not oppressed until you're forced into a ghetto where you're not allowed to leave. And yes, there's ghettos in the U.S., but you're allowed to leave. Like, you can actually work your way out. That's how that works. As much as we are losing freedoms here, you can still work yourself into a better situation. Until you're ordered into a ghetto and then removed from the ghetto. Half of everybody who's in the ghetto is killed, and then you're moved to a work camp to where you're gassed and other things. And reviled so much that once killed in the ghetto from whence you came, bodies are dug up and they're burnt. You don't know what the fuck oppression is. You're just a little bitch. Simple as that. Life might be hard for whatever reason, but you're a bitch. You don't know what oppression is.
I'm to help organize the shipments, put myself on the last train.
That's not what I was going to say. I know them. I'm familiar with them. I don't have to train them. It's good for you. I'll compensate you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all right. Don't tell me. I'll go along with it.
The children. All the children.
Yes? Necha.
I love how every time so far he's asked how many and given a number, and he goes, more. More. Bro, the risk of this cannot be understated. Because they figure out you're doing it just so you can keep them the fuck alive. Basically, you're not getting them out, right? You're not smuggling them out. You're not hiding them. You're using them for industry, but they're not going towards the purpose that they're meant to.
That's it. You can finish that page.
The list is an absolute good. The list is life.
Say your names clearly.
We are the family Dresdner.
Juda Jonas.
Sarah.
Freich official.
Mietek Pember.
Man to this transport and woman to this transport.
The train with the women has already left Plaszow and will be arriving here very shortly. I could have you arrested. I'm protected by powerful friends. You should know that.
Dresdner Danka. Nussbaum Zidomia. Rosner Manchi.
What are you doing? These are mine. These are my workers. They should be on my train. Under Department W provisions, it is unlawful to kill a worker. This is my wife's death. I don't keep any secrets from my spouse.
Oskar, please, attend to business. It's much more attractive.
What's the matter with you? You should be preparing for the Sabbath.
For the 7 months it was fully operational, Schindler's Brindlitz munitions factory was a model of non-production. During the same period, he spent millions of right marks to sustain his workers and bribe Reich officials.
Do you have any money hidden away someplace that I don't know about?
At General Eisenhower's headquarters, General Jodl surrender.
After 6 long years of murder, victims are being mourned throughout the world. I'm a member of the Nazi Party. I'm a munitions manufacturer. At midnight, you'll be free.
We've written a letter trying to explain things in case you were captured.
If I'd made more money. 10 people right there. I could have gone. Well,
You have been liberated by the Soviet army.
Amon Goeth was arrested while a patient in a sanitarium at Bad Tolls. He was hanged in Krakow for crimes against humanity. Oskar Schindler failed at his marriage and several businesses after the war. 1958 he was declared a righteous person by the Council of Yad Vashem in Jerusalem and invited to plant a tree in the Avenue of the Righteous. That's amazing. It's absolutely awesome. I love how they waited until afterwards for That is crazy. Holy crap. From out of those 1,100, 6,000. I think next time I decided there's a movie that a lot of folks have seen, and I think I'm just going to pass it up. Because anything like this, which I don't think there's many movies you're going to watch that are like this. It's amazing what happens whenever human depravity is allowed to reign free as a political ideology. The level of hatred versus a particular ethnicity being so strong that it led to the destruction of 6 million people. And Schindler, he was playing a dangerous game. A very dangerous game. Having lots of money helped him. But all it would have taken was one officer to be like, no, I'm not going along with this. And that the game would have been up and he'd have been killed. And all of those Jews that worked for him and that he was able to save would have been in Auschwitz and been among the number of those that were lost. The human decency, which is crazy because it starting off, it just seemed like like he's seen it as basically free labor. Look, You ain't got to take and be in such bad conditions. You get to take and work. You know, I'll own this. You're not buying it from me. I'll own it or whatever. But you'll have stuff that you can trade with in the ghetto, with people here in town and stuff like that. So, you know, it give you a little bit of bargaining chip or whatever, a little bit of, you know, buying power, so to speak, since you can't own anything, you weren't being paid money. And it just kind of morphed over the course of it, just seeing the brutality and being like, yeah, no, this having to do something and taking that money and buying the salvation of those people. Wow, some of the stuff portrayed in this, so hard to watch, so hard to even think about now, because it's a depiction of something that you know, there's reports of survivors of things like this happening, and worse, way worse. But to see it depicted in such a way, I feel like I couldn't completely look at the screen for a good portion of the movie. Like I'd seen the screen, but I was seeing it's hard to watch. It's so hard to watch some of this. It's like I said, I don't care your situation if you're in the U.S. Like actual genuine oppression in the U.S. and basically in Europe, in the EU. There we go. In the EU, in the UK, Australia, most true oppression does not exist. Like, you've got examples of systems in place that make things harder on people, but actual true oppression, nah. If you want to take and claim oppression, go fuck yourself. Watch something like this. This is true oppression. Watch something based on apartheid, South Africa. That's oppression. This was oppression. You don't know what the fuck oppression is. You just don't. I'm sorry. Words are not violence. Fist thrown at your throat, that's violence. Fist thrown at your face, that's violence. You might not like something that somebody says, but it's not oppressing you. And it's not violence against you. You're just a pussy. Simple as that. I don't know what the hell happened to sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened to that type of shit, but there's so many people that are oppressed and they don't know what the fuck oppression looks like. Watch a movie like this. Read about some of the stuff that happened in apartheid South Africa. Like, seriously, that's what oppression fucking looks like, because it's actually people being oppressed. The fact that those Jews took and wrote a letter basically like, hey, look, this is what he did, and he still felt guilty. He's like, I could have saved more, and he saved so many, and it's an enduring legacy because people have been born from those Jews, and their family names and their family legacies live on multiple generations. It's one of those movies you watch once. This isn't one you watch. This is one of those ones that it tells a story that needs to be told, but it's hard enough to take and watch it that you don't watch it again. One time's enough, straight up. That's one of the reasons why I say be good to each other, love yourselves. Because without doing that, you wind up with shit like this. So, again, be good to each other, love yourselves. Peace.